In the Soul Land 2. Huo Yuhao's second visit to the Haotian Sect. Being beaten half to death by the Azure bull python. Kicking down the Haotian Sect. Huo Yuhao's first visit to the Haotian Sect. Accompanying Wang Dong to obtain the sixth soul ring. Let Huo Yuhao see it. How strong is the foundation of this ancient sect that has been passed down for 10,000 years? The strength of the two sect masters is even more unfathomable. After obtaining the Snow Emperor's soul, the Titan giant ape immediately tested Huo Yuhao's strength. Although Huo Yuhao alone could not shake the Titan ape, but with the addition of the Snow Queen's soul, it forced the Titan ape to activate its martial spirit. It can be seen how powerful the Snow Queen's soul is. After everything was done, Huo Yuhao left the Haotian sect with Wang Dong. When leaving, the two sect masters waved goodbye to Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao also bowed to the two sect masters to express his gratitude. But when Huo Yuhao came to the Haotian sect for the second time, but everything has changed. The Titan ape and the Azure bull python are no longer as they were the first time, and treat Huo Yuhao warmly. Instead, they beat Huo Yuhao up. Huo Yuhao was beaten by the Azure bull python until he bled. Almost died on the spot. So why did the Azure bull python treat Huo Yuhao like this? It turns out that all this was arranged by Tang San. If you want to become the son-in-law of the god king Tang San, you still need to go through many tests. Not only must Huo Yuhao's character be tested, you also need to have strong strength. After Huo Yuhao and his companions participated in the second soul fighting competition, they mistakenly entered the Qianquan Love Valley. Here they all experienced Tang San's test. However, in this test, Wang Dong sacrificed herself just to keep Huo Yuhao alive. However, after the test was over, although Wang Dong was saved, but she had been in a deep sleep. In desperation, Huo Yuhao could only take Wang Dong back to Haotian Sect. With the strength of the two masters of Haotian Sect, Wang Dong would definitely be saved. So Huo Yuhao set foot on the Haotian Sect for the second time. But this time, after the two sect leaders saw Huo Yuhao, they were no longer polite to him. They saw Wang Dong unconscious, and angrily scolded Huo Yuhao for causing Wang Dong to be like this. When the two entrusted Wang Dong to Huo Yuhao, Huo Yuhao promised to protect Wang Dong. But now she is in a coma because of Huo Yuhao. The two sect leaders angrily asked Huo Yuhao to leave immediately. Don't come to see Wang Dong again in the future. Huo Yuhao refused to leave, and the Azure bull python was furious. It even wanted to kick Huo Yuhao off the Haotian peak. It immediately released an extremely terrifying pressure. It instantly suppressed Huo Yuhao and made him unable to breathe. Shu Sansha and Jiang Nannan, who came with Huo Yuhao, I could no longer bear this terrifying pressure, and chose to retreat. But Huo Yuhao's legs were like nails. They were pierced into the ground. The huge pressure was so great that Huo Yuhao's body was about to be crushed. Seeing that Huo Yuhao had begun to bleed from all his orifices, still refused to leave. If this continued, Huo Yuhao would really die here. The Azure bull python angrily accused Huo Yuhao of seeking death. Then he immediately stopped. The two sect leaders couldn't bear to treat Huo Yuhao like this. But this was Tang San's decision. They could only do as they were told. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.